After a tumultuous month, the life I have now is completely different than the one that I had just a few weeks ago. I'm going to tell you about everything that's happened and how things may be changing. Are you ready? Let's go. Welcome back to Ready Budget Go. My name is Drew, and on this channel we talk about household budgeting, saving money, and achieving our financial goals. If that sounds like something you're interested in, please consider subscribing, hit the like button, and leave me a comment down below, because I'd love to hear from you. So, before I get into what's happened this last week, just a fair warning for anyone who might be watching this with young children. Now might be a good time to pause the video, give them another activity, and then come back. So, if you've been watching my channel for a while, and especially over the last month and a half or so, you'll know that I got some distressing news about this time last month when a family member called me and told me that my grandmother had passed away. I think I also mentioned that in the course of notifying other family members of her passing, I learned that my father is also deceased. My father and I haven't been in contact for a very long time. And so it wasn't entirely a surprise that he's no longer with us, but at the same time, I didn't know. So now having that information, all kinds of things have come to light, including the fact that I've learned that I have a half brother. This half brother is very close in age to me. And so this is just a completely new thing for me. I grew up an only child, so I thought. I was never aware of any half siblings out there. I grew up solely with my mother. I did have visitation with my father, but that ended um, a long time ago, about 35 years ago. So, um, you know, like I say, this sibling of mine, this brother of mine, half brother, is right around my age. My parents divorced when I was very young, and so I don't know if I have any other half siblings, but this one was a revelation. It absolutely has been confirmed through genetic testing that we are related and indeed are half brothers. So this is all new for me. I had made my peace with never being an uncle, never having siblings, anything like that. And now I am an uncle three times over. I have two nephews and a niece that I am just now learning about. So I've not yet connected with my half brother, but I will hopefully do that shortly. But I don't know what this means for my life. I don't know what kind of a relationship we will have. I don't know what kind of relationship, if any, I will have with the kids. The kids are older. They are 19, 17, and 15. My two nephews are 19 and 17, and then my niece is 15. And just saying that, the words coming out of my mouth just sound so strange. I feel like I'm in a play or something. Like it's not really my life. So I just got this news on Monday. Things are still sinking in. Like I say, I haven't made contact with my half brother yet, but I don't know how things are going to change. I had all these plans, and I still have them to move, and now I think, well, shoot, maybe I don't want to. My brother is here, essentially about 10 miles away from where I live, as the crow flies. So I don't know what that means for the future just yet. Things are still very new. Things are still very raw. I'm still, kind of coping with the loss of my grandmother, the loss of my father, finding out this information. And who knows when the next shoe is going to drop. There could be, like I say, there could be more. We just don't know. So that is the big news. And so we'll get into the budget now, but I'm just not sure how this will affect my goals. And I may not be sure of that for a while. So for now, I'm going to continue planning with my goals as they are, and I will shift them as needed. I do have another reallocation in my budget for some of the things that happened this month. I made a trip this month, didn't plan too well for that, so there's a budget overage. And I also need to put some money into a different pot. So I'll talk about that when we get into the budget. But first things first, I'm going to set up for a cash dump and we'll get started with that. I have quite a few new subscribers this week, so thank you to everyone who's subscribed. Special thank you to Mindy, who is subscriber number 500. I am thrilled to be over 500 subscribers. That is just mind blowing. It's the second mind blowing thing that's happened this week. And for everyone who is subscribed and who watches my content, thank you so much. That really does mean a lot to me. So, the cash dump, I am going to take out the money from that I didn't spend from my cash, and we'll put that toward the Letterbucks challenge. But first, I am going to go through my cash wallet here. This is the money that I take out in cash every week for just my regular spending. I give myself $350 each week between cash and credit cards. Sorry, $350 each week between cash and credit cards. I take out 100 in cash. Up to 250 can go on credit cards. Sometimes it's more. I had a couple overages. We'll talk about that. But I have $40 left this week. So I spent 60, and that will be reflected in the budget. This money I'm just going to carry over to next week. And by carry over, I mean I'm going to take 60 out for next week's cash instead of $100. I recently made a change that I will only spend 10s and 20s and higher. I will not spend 5s. I was saving all my 1s. Now I'm saving the 1s and the 5s, and those are going into the Christmas fund. So what I do with this money is at the end of the week, I take it all out, and then I put it into a pouch, and every month I put it into the Letterbucks challenge. The Letterbucks challenge for May will drop on Saturday, June 7th. So be looking for that. And for now, I'm just going to add these into the ones here. I totaled this up last week, but then I thought, I've got one more week of cash spending in May because I do my budget weeks from Friday through Thursday. So I've got a big old stack of 1s and quite a few 5s. I've got, I think, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. So all told, I should be right around $100, maybe a little less, going into the Christmas fund for May, and that is fantastic. So that is the cash. And like I say, I'll be stuffing the Letterbucks challenge this weekend. And then we also have the coinage, which I will redeem for an Amazon gift card at Coinstar because then Amazon pays the counting fees. And even if Coinstar shorts me a little bit, to me, that is worth it. So I've got all of this coinage here from the pouch. And then I think I've even got a couple pennies in my pants pocket. So let me look in there real quick. Yep, I do. So in those go. And I will probably cash this in around Prime Day, which I think usually is in July. And that's about when I start planning for my Christmas spending because I like taking advantage of the sales when I can. Okay, so that is the cash dump. I will get the binder back out and we'll start digging into the budget. We'll close out May and we'll fill in what we can for June. Okay, here we are in the budget book, and let me open up to May. Why are we still doing May? Well, because my budgeting weeks run from Friday through Thursday, as I was saying earlier. And because May 30th was a Friday, that meant that that whole week got pulled into May. So I've got one more week of wallet spend to fill in, and then we'll close out the month. I've already closed out income, bills, stockpiles, and savings and extra debt because those follow the calendar month. But the wallet spend is on a weekly basis, and May got 5 weeks this time around. So the only thing that we need to fill in for May is the expense tracker. And I've already gone ahead and entered in all the transactions because I had quite a few for this week. So I made a trip down to Portland at the end of last week, which was the 29th, 30th, 31st, and the 1st. And so I spent a lot on food and transportation and things like that down there. So all of those expenses are here. I didn't do a great job budgeting for this trip. I did for the flights and for the hotel because I don't pay for hotels. I always redeem credit card rewards. But for the incidentals, I did not do a fantastic job. And I think I would have been okay had I come back and had, a normal week, but it was not a normal week. I had gone down to Portland essentially looking to see if my father's remains were in the same cemetery as some of our other family members, and they were not because I didn't know. I didn't have the death certificate at the time. The death certificate came while I was down in Oregon. So now I'm working on that. Those remains are likely in a totally different state, but still, it was a lot of it was an emotional trip, I would say, for me. And then coming back and getting this news, that kind of threw the whole rest of the week off. So didn't go to the grocery store at all, and consequently, there's a lot of expensive restaurant spending in this week. So um, I won't go into too much detail. Just the Portland expenses run from, let's see, well, some of them fell into last week, but they're from here all the way through to here. So this is things like, well, it's restaurant meals, Lyft I took out to the cemetery, that was $30. Salt and Straw, I got ice cream with a friend. We also went out to lunch the next day. At the hotel I stayed at, I ended up spending $19 on incidentals. That was mostly for bottles of water. Um, Airport spending, all the things like that. So I also had several DoorDash orders that I just combined into one line because otherwise I would run out of space. And so I spent $108 on DoorDash this week. I think I got it like 6 times. And I regret nothing, just because I was not in a place mentally where I was really focused on doing the normal day to day things like going to the grocery store and meal planning and all of that. So I'm going to add up all this spending and we will input that ugly number, because I'm sure it will be, on the budget tracker for May. So 8, 25, 81, 30, 75, 17, 88, 36, 75, 19, 5, 65, 22, 56, 7, 59, 108, 05, 660, and 60. $348.64. So actually not too bad at all. It came in less than I thought it would. So before I go back to the other page, let me just color code all of these. And I just do this to easily distinguish what expenses go with which week. So I thought that this number was going to be significantly higher, particularly because of all of the DoorDash. So the fact that I came in pretty much on budget. Well, actually, I'm over budget. I had said $350 a week earlier. It's actually $300. So $348.64. And I know I'm going to be over for the month. So we're going to add to this $416.18, $249.44, $273.23, and $434.99. So 1722.48, and that is on a budget of 1,500. So now I'm going to add up all of these numbers and we'll see where we got to. So 2168, 2000, 1230, and then we're going to subtract that from 8840, and that leaves us a remainder of $1,719.52, which doesn't seem right. Oh, but I was okay. So I was 1,700 off in the stockpiles. I did not allocate the full amount, so I took 2,000 instead of 2,500, and then I didn't take this 1,200. There's a couple of reasons why. Number one, I knew I was going to overspend pretty early in the month, so I wanted to leave a buffer there. And number two is I need to make a bridge loan to Ready Budget Go. When I do my physical products, I always have them professionally printed, and they always recoup their cost pretty early. But because I sell on Etsy, Etsy holds payments for 3 weeks from the date of the order. So because I have to pay for the print before I get the revenue from Etsy, I need to bridge a loan to Ready Budget Go. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't share my business expenses here just yet, just because I'm still in the startup mode. So once I kind of get into a rhythm with that, I will absolutely share that either on this channel or set up a separate channel that just talks about running the Etsy shop. So TBD. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this page out and we'll go to the month-end close for May. And I'm going to input all of these numbers. So income was supposed to be $88.40 and it came in at $88.40. So no difference there. Bills were supposed to be $22.86 and we were at $21.68. I'll come back and calculate that. Wallet $1,500, spent $1,722.48. So a difference of $222.48. Stockpiles $3,700, spent $2,000. And stockpiles are basically my sinking funds. So we're $1,700 short there. Well, not short, but we're $1,700 under there. Savings was $1,200, came in at $1,230. Usually that goes over by a little bit, and that's okay, $30. Extra debt payment I didn't do because I don't have any debt. And then the remainder was $154, supposed to be, and it was $1,719.52. Okay, so let me get out the calculator here for a couple of these. So 2168, 2286. So it's a difference of 118. And then 1719.52. Oops. 154, 15, 65, 52. So if I weren't going to put this toward Ready Budget Go, I would make a note in my June budget that this would be a carryover from May, but I'm not going to carry it over. I'm just going to allocate it to the business. And I will note that here. So this was right on. Bills were short due to water, sewer, garbage. Primarily, that was supposed to be, well, I was expecting $120 and it came in at $7 because I only got billed for 2 days. So that's why that was a big difference. Excuse me, total wallet. This was vacay and other overspending. Stockpiles. This is Ready Budget Go. Bridge loan. And also covering for that overspending. Total savings was only $30 off. Don't have to worry about that. And that's already covered here. So in terms of what went well, I'm going to say use credit card rewards. To wipe out some overspends, because I did in earlier weeks. I didn't do it for all my overspending, but I did it for some, and I don't regret that. And then got monthly bills under control. And by that, what I mean is I now know when the new bills will come in. I moved in March, and so the bill's date shifted for a lot of things. So now I've got, with a few months under me, I know pretty much when they're going to be coming in. And I also feel like I'm getting to know what the utilities are going to be. So under control. And then needs improvement. Obviously better travel budgeting, because I did not properly account for incidentals, though I'm giving myself some grace on that just because of everything that was going on. And then I also want to reduce the number of credit card transactions. And not fill in 2 full pages a month when there's 5 weeks. Okay, and then for this time next year, one goal that I have is I want to get my Roth fully funded by end of May. That doesn't mean I'm going to invest all the money. It just means I want it all to be in the Roth IRA before the end of May, if possible. That's a goal. We'll see what happens when I do my yearly plan for 2026. When I start getting ready to do that, I will review all of my notes here for things that I want to remember for 2026, and this is one of them. Okay, so let me set the calculator aside. I am going to put this page back in the front, although I will move all of the May sheets to the archives section eventually, so it's going to come right back out. And then I just have a few things to talk about with the June budget because, like I was saying, the June budget is on the calendar month. So I'm not going to enter in any expenses, but I do have other things to fill in for June. Okay, so we got bills. $17.92 for rent. That came through. Water, sewer, garbage was not $120, it was $98. Orca, I budgeted $50, spent $33. Orca is my transit card. This is just money to top up my monthly pass when I take a more expensive trip. iCloud was $3 as planned. Renter's insurance was $15 as planned. And Quantum, which is my home internet, was $80 as planned. Okay, so that's it for what's come in so far. Wallet spending, like I said, the first week starts on Friday, June 6th, so I don't have anything to enter for here. Stockpiles, this will be from my June 16th paycheck. I've put $1,200 for that. That is going toward the big move. And then savings and extra debt, this is for my Roth IRA. This is for Monday night, which is game night, and Wednesdays, which are the savings challenge books. So nothing else to enter on this sheet. The only other thing that I have to do in June is the cash flow. I have not had any inflows so far. I won't until the 16th, probably because of how my paychecks fall. But for outflows, I had rent and water, sewer, garbage. That was $1,889.77. And this is like a check register for me. I took a cash withdrawal for $100. And I also sent money to my Roth IRA from game night that was accounted for in I take that back. That is June, so I need to go back to the other page and fill that in. Roth IRA was 306. Okay, so that's all of the tracking for that. Let me go back to the monthly overview, and this was 306. Just a little bit over for this week. So speaking of the Roth IRA, let's go into the savings section real quick. I will go into the Roth IRA section. This was last year. Nope. This way for this year. So on June 4th, 306, because I pre-filmed. So that brings the total contribution for the year to $3,857. And I can mark off 3 more sloths in the Sloth IRA tracker. I am now more than halfway, officially, through the sloths. So there's 1, 2, and 3. If you like this tracker or this tracker, they are available on my Etsy shop as a digital download. And then the other thing that I want to talk about in terms of savings is the big move, and I cannot remember where I put it. So let me flip through all these real quick until I find it, because I know I put it in here somewhere. There it is. I just didn't create a tab for it yet. So because I've now hit 500 subscribers, I can fill this in. This will be yellow. You can watch my terrible coloring. It really is quite awful. And it's going to bleed. But you know what? That's okay. All right. So what I'm doing with this tracker is for every 10 subscribers, I am saving $50. So I'm a little bit behind. I contributed $2,000 in May. So in June, just to get caught up, I need to contribute another $500 to my savings account, my high yield savings. I will do that likely with the first paycheck, because that's when I budgeted it with the stockpiles. And who knows how many more I will get to fill in by then. So stay tuned for that. But that is it for the weekly update. Thank you again for everyone who has subscribed, especially those who put me over the 500 subscriber mark this week, but really to everyone, because everyone is a part of that 500 or 503 or wherever we are up to now. So thank you again so much. And thank you to all of you who support me on my Etsy shop. The May launch went super well. If you're interested in any of those products, the link to my Etsy shop is down below. I've got trackers with digital downloads. I've got physical products, the whole 9 yards. If you want to see the May launch, I have a video for that posted in the last week. So please go back and watch that. There's 2 new dice games and 1 new set of 80s themed scratch offs. In terms of what's coming up next, so Saturday I will have the Letterbucks stuffing. Monday I'll be back for game night. Wednesday for the Savings Challenge books. And then at the end of next week, I'll be right back here again with the budget book for another update. And who knows, I might have a new extended family. So thank you so much for watching and for just being here, subscribing, or if you're not subscribed, for just watching. And if you're not subscribed, why not subscribe? It doesn't cost anything and it helps me out a lot. Thank you again so much for watching, and until I see you in the next one, take care.